There's a reason I've signed 263 clients, built a successful agency, and scaled without spending thousands on ads. And that reason is LinkedIn. But most people completely overlook the power of the platform. They post randomly, they just think it's cringe, or they focus solely on getting likes. And they end up speaking to no one. Meanwhile, I've turned content into conversations and conversations into millions in sales. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how so that you can copy it. You don't need a huge following, you don't need to become famous, you don't need to post ridiculously cringe content. You just need a simple strategy. And the best part is that you can start applying this strategy today. This is the system that has helped over 250 leaders, from early stage founders to execs at the likes of Salesforce and KPMG, go from invisible to industry leaders. If you've been waiting to start, this is your sign. Let's dive into the exact strategy you need to follow to build and monetize your LinkedIn profile. Now, the reason I actually got posting on LinkedIn in the first place was because I was a broke student trying to get any sort of freelance marketing projects I could. And I would message business owners on Facebook, I would send email pitches to them, I would attend networking events, and every single time I was met with the same response, which was, who the f are you? And looking back, I totally get why they thought that. Look, I wasn't the world's best marketer. I was pretty young, and I can see why they didn't trust me instantly. But as a last resort, I went to the most businessy place I knew, which was LinkedIn. And I started publishing the things that I was learning and the things that I knew on the platform. And yes, it felt a little bit uncomfortable at the start, but after a few days, I haven't really seen anything. After a couple of weeks, I got a few nibbles. And after a couple of months, suddenly people were reaching out to me to get my help. And eventually people started reaching out for help with their own profiles. And of course, I've since helped hundreds of people build their personal brands on LinkedIn. And yeah, might seem pretty cringe now, but when it can generate millions in sales for you, you'll probably get over it quickly. And the best thing is I've got a full strategy that isn't complicated, doesn't require a huge ad budget, doesn't require you to be chronically online, and isn't cringe whatsoever. But one thing I've realized to make this successful is that you need to have really high quality positioning. And this is the first thing we've got to do if you want to build a successful personal brand on LinkedIn. You have to position yourself as an authority in your industry. And what I mean by that is people need to understand why you're credible to talk about a specific topic and why you are worth listening to on that topic. Look, the messenger matters. Who says something matters just as much as what they said. And people are only going to listen to you, they're only going to engage with you, they're only going to take you up on your offers and ultimately buy from you if you are seen as someone of authority. So the number one thing we've got to do is we've got to articulate the experience and expertise that we actually have in the best way possible. We have to frame our reputations that people trust us instantly. Once we've done that, we've got a really strong foundation for building the rest of our profile and starting to generate leads on the platform. Let's dive into how we do that. So the first thing you've got to do after you've established really high authority position, you understand why people should listen to you and you've framed your expertise in the right ways. You need to set your profile up for success. Your profile on LinkedIn is kind of like your personal website, a landing page, a pitch deck, a sales deck, and a business card all in one. So it's really, really important we optimize this. And what we're going to be doing in the next phase is we're going to be driving thousands of people to your profile every single month. So we want to make sure it's as optimized as possible to capitalize on that traffic we're generating. Because you would never spend money on ads directing people to a website or a landing page that wasn't optimized. It's the same thinking with your profile. We don't want to create content that's going to drive people to it and then lose out on an opportunity to convert those people. So there are three key things we need to optimize for when people land on our profile. This is really important because look, people are judging you by this first impression. What they see on your profile is going to determine how they see you for the rest of your life. It's going to subconsciously bias them. We want to make that first impression a really, really strong one. We want to optimize for curiosity, for credibility, and for conversion. So curiosity, we want them to be interested in what we do. Credibility, we want them to see us as an authority. They want us to see as someone worth listening to. And conversion, we want them to know the next step they should take in order to work with us. And if you look at my profile here, you can see all of these elements in place. I'm going to walk you through the profile and the key things you need to know. So the first thing is you should always just have a really high quality profile picture. You can't overthink this, right? Just make sure it's high quality and it reflects the kind of representation you want to have. If you're going after a very, very corporate audience, have yourself in a suit because that's going to appeal to them. If you're going after a more casual audience, have yourself in casual clothes. I know agency owners, for example, that will wear hoodies because the brands they're going after are challenger brands. If you're going after kind of mid-level audience, go kind of smart casual, as you can kind of see how I've done here. This is also a very authoritative profile picture because it's clear I'm kind of on stage speaking, which already positions me as someone that other people will pay to speak, someone you might want to listen to. So have a really high quality profile picture. Make sure it clearly shows your face, but don't overthink this one. You also want to have a really clear, high quality cover photo. The cover photo is really important because it's probably one of the first things people are going to notice when they land on your profile. It's a very visual piece of the profile. And it's a great opportunity to establish credibility and build curiosity. What most people have here is a generic stock image or a quote or maybe just their company logo. Actually, what we want to do here is a few things, and you'll notice in mine, there's a couple of things that are really interesting. Firstly, I have a value proposition. Our value proposition is turning entrepreneurs into thought leaders through personal branding. That is the most succinct way of telling people exactly what we do. So that instantly tells you, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to become a thought leader, you know where you're going to go to get personal branding. You know that's something we do. There's also a lot of credibility. It says join 42,000 plus people. It's obviously close to 50,000 now. But if 42,000 other people or 50,000 other people are following someone, it's a good indication that maybe you should too. I also have the logos of some of the places we've been featured, some of the brands that we've worked with in the bottom of my cover photo, which again is social proof. It shows that if I'm worthy of working with some of these clients or featuring in some of these places, I'm probably worth listening to. So there's a lot of credibility and some curiosity created from the cover photo. The single most important part of your profile is your tagline. And the reason your tagline is the single most important part of your profile is because when you publish content in the feed, the only things that are going to show up with that content, your profile picture and your name. And unfortunately, unless you're already famous, your profile picture and your name, they're not going to be enough to get someone to click onto your profile. But your tagline could be. If you scroll your feed now, you'll see people's taglines alongside their name, profile picture, and content. So your tagline is the number one chance to get someone to click from your content onto your profile. And again, there's a few key things we want to have in here. Number one thing we want to have is credibility. And you can see the first thing I put is 220 plus personal brands built. I should update it to 250 or 260 because we've built even more of them now. So instantly you're hit with credibility, right? This positions me as someone worth listening to on personal branding specifically. You instantly trust me. And again, we also have the value proposition. So having a value proposition in your tagline alongside credibility is going to tell people what you do and whether you're good at it or that you are good at it. So now if you want to build your personal brand or you want to become a thought leader, I help with that and you see me as someone that's credible because I've done it so many times. You're going to click on to my profile. So this is a really appealing hook. What most people have is just their job title. They would just have this founder and CEO at Kurogo, which if you haven't heard of the company before, doesn't really tell you much. The other thing that I have in this kind of main header section of the profile is a link to a lead magnet. So this link takes people to an external site, takes people to our personal brand scorecard. And our scorecard is a very quick 3-minute questionnaire that we've built that will test the strength of your personal brand on a few key areas. And based on your result, it's going to give you specific advice. That is a great tool for us to qualify our leads and see if we can actually add value to people. And that's the number one place that I want to drive people from my personal brand. So it's the main link in my header section. If you click that button, you will be directed to the scorecard. And you'll notice it doesn't just say the scorecard URL. I have personalized the text to say test your personal brand score. And that creates curiosity. It makes people more likely to click on the link and for that conversion event to happen. The final part of your profile that you really need to optimize is your featured section. Your featured section is a great place to spotlight key links or key content. Now, if you're looking to sign clients from your personal brand, this is just if you're looking to sign clients from your personal brand on LinkedIn, there are a few key things I recommend having. I recommend having lead magnets, results, or your process, or a combination of them. What I've got here is one lead magnet, a second lead magnet, and I've got a results page, a case study page on our website. This is doing a few things. It's creating 2 opportunities to convert people into leads through the lead magnet and it's providing a huge amount of proof that we're really good at what we do. So instantly now people are building credibility. They might click onto the site where they see all the case studies, or they might be really interested in one of the lead magnets straight away and they may click onto one of those. It's a great piece of thought leadership, hooks people in, gets them giving us their contact information in exchange for the valuable resources that we're providing completely for free. It's a clear next step towards working with us, and it's really easy to do. There are so many opportunities for this conversion event to happen. We had one in the initial header section. We've got a second one with this lead magnet here. We've got a third one with this lead magnet here, and a fourth one here. I actually then have an about section where I write my about section like a sales letter. Okay, so I've structured my about section really to sell. But at the bottom of the about section, it says, DM me the word personal brand if you're interested in working together. So then there's a 5th conversion event in the about section. So there are lots of different touch points for somebody to go from my profile, from a connection into a client. We want to make sure our profile does that. Really, that's the sole aim of your profile, is the middle ground between someone seeing your content and becoming a client. Now you've got really strong positioning, you've got highly optimized profile. You need to actually get that profile and get your authority and credibility and expertise in front of more people. And just having a good profile isn't going to be enough to do that. We need to publish content to grow our account, reach new people, and build trust. And look, I can give you 1,000 individual tips on how to produce content. You'll notice loads and loads of different philosophies. Really though, there are only 3 things you need to do with your content. And this is the simplest content system you'll ever see, but it works ridiculously well. And it's the exact system I use with myself and also with every single one of our clients. The only 3 things you need to do to grow your account on LinkedIn, to get leads from LinkedIn, is number 1, you need to get in front of new people. We call this growth content. So you need to reach new people that didn't know you existed previously, need to come across your profile and know you exist. That's the first step, because attention is the first step in any funnel, right? We have to get attention from the right people. The second thing we want to do is build authority through our content. So we want to demonstrate expertise and build trust with our audience. That pool of people that now knows we exist, they need to start to trust us. And then the final thing we can do once we've done that is we can convert them. And we do that with conversion content. Conversion content is designed to take the pool of people that know who you are, they already know you exist, they already trust you, they see you as an expert, to working with you. That's all our conversion content is designed to do. And that is the really simple 3-step process that we go through with all our clients when we're producing content. Now, your growth content, you want this to be slightly more general in nature. You want it to be widely appealing. It should appeal to a broad group of people, probably your whole industry. Don't be too specific at your ICP when you're producing this content. You actually want to go broader than that. We can get more specific as we go down the funnel, but really right now we're just looking to get attention. The way we're going to measure whether this is successful is views and how many people follow us. So people talk about vanity metrics. Actually, this is a place where vanity metrics do count. And whilst they're not the full picture and just getting views and followers does not mean you're going to get clients, all other things being equal, having 100,000 people know who you are gives you a much greater chance of getting leads than if only 1,000 people know who you are. So we do want to be growing our account to an extent. And this should, generally speaking, make up about 40% of your content. That's a rule of thumb. Could be anywhere from 20 to 60, but generally speaking, that's going to be about 40% of your content. We then have authority content. Now, this content needs to be a little bit more specific. It needs to be targeted at the niche within your industry that you're going after, and it needs to be educational. It needs to help people get a result and prove that you know what you're talking about. Okay, solve problems and help people achieve results. Really, we don't mind if this kind of content doesn't go mega viral, because it's not designed to go viral. It's designed to build trust with the right people. You've really got to speak to people's pain points and desired results. So here we're actually looking at the engagement rate. So out of the number of people that have seen it, how many of them have engaged with the piece of content? That's a good indication of how high quality the content is. Again, this is going to be about 40% of your content. Could be anywhere from probably 40 to 60. You don't really want to fall below 40% with your authority content. And this is all about building trust with the people that already know you exist. The final type of content is our conversion content. This is going to be hyper specific to your ICP. So this is all about getting the people that fit your ICP within your audience that already know who you are and already trust you to convert. We're talking things like case studies. We're talking things like promoting lead magnets, direct sales call outs. We really want to focus this in on the ICP that we're targeting. And to be honest, the only number that matters here is leads. If this content gets 10 views, but all 10 of them become leads, that's a ridiculously successful piece of conversion content. This is generally speaking going to be about 20%. You don't want to go too high with this conversion content, because if you do it too much without reaching enough people or building enough authority, people are going to start to get sick of your sales messaging, and your profile is just going to become a sales page. You're not going to build any form of brand or any form of trust with your audience. And that really is all we need to do in our content. We need to get new people into our network through growth content. We've got to build trust with them through authority content, and we've got to convert them through conversion content. Super simple. One way though that we can accelerate this process and actually get better results faster is by being active on the platform and having an engagement and a connection strategy. So as you post this content, you're going to notice you're starting to get lots and lots of comments under the pieces of content that you put out. What a lot of people do is they just publish content and they leave the profile and they forget about it. They come back to it later and they're disappointed at the number of views they're getting. Actually, what you need to be doing is you need to be spending time after you publish content responding to comments, because that's how your profile is going to grow in the algorithm. LinkedIn's algorithm is engagement driven. It's driven by likes, it's driven by comments, reposts, and view time. Comments are one of the number one things you can do to increase the performance of your content and get in front of more people. So you want to make sure after you post, you're responding to comments, you're furthering the conversation in the comment section. You're giving people new things to think about in the comment section. We call this engagement farming. It's a great way to get more views on the content that you've already produced. So number one thing you can be doing is actually responding and being active on the profile, responding to engagement on your posts. You should also be connecting with your ICPs every single week. So through this process, particularly with growth content, you're going to have some people within your audience, some people within your ICP actually reaching out to connect with you. And that's great. But we can also accelerate that process by being active and going out to connect with other people. Okay, so you want to be sending connection requests to people that fit your target audience every single week. You can send 100 of these every single week. The acceptance rate is not going to be 100%, but even if it's in the 20 to 40% mark, you're still getting 20 to 40 ICPs into your network every single week. And those people are then more likely to see your content, more likely to start to trust you and then ultimately to convert with you. Or they might go straight to your profile, see the really optimized profile that you've built and just convert there and then. So we want to be engaging and connecting whilst we're posting. Now look, just posting content like this is going to get you some pretty good results. You'll start getting your first few inbound leads, your profile will be growing, but you might actually be missing out on a huge proportion of your audience that just haven't thought about reaching out yet, or maybe they're not quite ready yet. And that's where lead magnets come in. That's where having a conversion strategy comes in. Lead magnets are a great way to bridge the gap between your social content and your paid offers. And look, out of your audience, probably 3% of them are what we call now buyers. They're ready to buy now. Of the remaining 97%, look, some of them are never going to buy. But the majority of that 97%, they'll probably buy in the future. They're just not quite ready yet. We just need to nurture them into buying a little bit more. That's where having lead magnets comes in and is really, really effective for scaling the leads you're generating from personal brands. So the exact strategy we use is we create lead magnets that solve individual problems that our audience has. So between the current state that they're in now, where they're experiencing lots of problems, they're not where they want to be, and their desired state, where they want to get to in the future, there are lots of smaller individual things that they must solve. There are lots of things that they don't know how to do yet, or that they haven't done in the past. These are all mini problems that we've got to solve for our audience. And look, sure, we can solve all of these by them just paying us to do it for them. But for those people that aren't ready yet, we want to create lead magnets that solve each of these individual problems. And as a result of this, we're going to have people who understand, they've seen our value, they've got some results, but they've realized they've actually got a load of other problems that they need help solving, and they're just going to pay us to do it. These lead magnets are an amazing way to do that. And look, you can use guides, you can use webinars. What we actually do right now is we run a webinar every single month. We then turn that webinar into a written guide, and we use that to form 2 lead magnets every single month. And that's really the process that I use to drive 20 to 50 leads from my personal brand every single month. These lead magnets should always be valuable. They're not just designed to convert people. You can't just whip them together and hope they convert. They actually need to be really valuable, because ultimately these are an advertisement for your paid service. So if your lead magnets aren't good, people aren't going to think your paid work is going to be any good at all. So what we want to be doing with these is we want to be promoting them consistently in our LinkedIn profile. And there are lots of different ways that we can do this. We can promote it just through the comment section. So after delivering a piece of growth content or an authority piece of content, we can plug these resources in the comments. We can say something like, look, if you found this valuable, check out this guide. It's going to teach you ABC. So we can plug them in the comments. We can also do outright promo posts. So we can create direct posts promoting these guides. We might do launch posts explaining the value of them. We don't want to do these too frequently, but every now and then we can. As I said, no more than 20% of the time. And we can also do what we call viral loop posts, which are similar to the promo and launch posts, but they have an added twist. What we're going to do in our viral loop pieces of content, again, you don't want to rinse these too much, maybe do them once or twice a month, is we're going to hype up the value contained within our lead magnet. We're going to explain how beneficial it is, what result people are going to get, the problem they're going to solve, build up a lot of social proof, and really promote the value contained within the lead magnet. But then we're not going to give it to people, not just yet. And what that's going to do is it's going to get lots and lots of people that are clearly interested in this resource commenting me under your post. As we know from earlier in the video, that's going to spike the performance of your content, spike the views you're able to generate on it. What you're going to then come in and do is reply to every single one of those comments, but you're not going to give them the link just yet. You're not going to give it in the comment. You're going to say, I'll send it to you via DM. Then what you're going to do is you're going to DM people the link. So that means the link is not public. The link is not publicly available on the profile. People have to comment in order to get access. This is doing a few things. It's creating a viral loop with the content, because the more people that comment me, the more people see the post, the more people comment, the more leads you get, the more people see the post in this amazing self-fulfilling loop. But it's also getting you in direct conversation with your target audience through the DMs. Actually starting a conversation can be really difficult, but this gives us a really easy natural route in to start DMing them. We can then nurture them via chat. We can understand their problems a little bit better. We can offer to help them. We can get them on a sales call and convert them that way. So this is an amazing tool for converting people both organically through the lead magnet itself, but also just getting into conversations with our ICP. And look, this is really the whole process that I use to grow my account, to establish trust and authority, to build my audience, and to get people booking in calls. We have a very simple system. We use LinkedIn to drive people to a landing page where they sign up to get access to the lead magnet. We then deliver the lead magnet via email. We redirect them to book a call. All the while, we have a weekly newsletter that goes out consistently adding value and sharing case studies to nurture them even if they don't book a call. But this is the super simple system that we use. We drive people from my LinkedIn profile. Off the back of the landing page, they're then sent the lead magnet via email and they receive a weekly newsletter that shares value. It's simple, but my God, this works. It's simply a case now for me of, look, this whole process is dialed in. All we've got to do is consistently make marginal improvements on the conversion rate of the landing page and make big improvements in the number of people we're driving from LinkedIn to it. And if we do that, we know based on the data we've got, we're going to book calls, we're going to sign clients. And that is the full process I've used to drive millions in sales from LinkedIn. No sleazy sales tactics, no cringy content, and I don't spend thousands and thousands on ads every month. So yeah, I sincerely hope this has been useful. If you did find it useful, would love it if you subscribe to the channel, because I'm sharing content like this every single week to help you build your personal brand. And look, if you want to get in-depth advice like this, a full program for building your personal brand and weekly mentorship from me, click the link in the description. It's going to take you to the Thought Leaders Academy, where we're helping people build their audience, become a thought leader, and generate leads using LinkedIn and their personal brand.